This ain't the show, nah, this ain't the scene, just a prelude to the in-between. Vaults in the shadows, screen says soon, like a ghost in the glow of a neon moon. NFTs in his pocket used to flex that wealth. Mickey and Marvel stacking them shelves, but now they dust, just a digital ghost. Vault's got a past, but tonight he's the host.
Starting soon, hold your breath. The clock ticks closer to digital death. Fault in the dark, you know the tune. Just wait for it, starting soon.
He sold a Coke NFT, thought it'd never go flat. Now it's worth less than a Subway rat. Universal dreams in a JPEG frame. Volt's fortune faded, but he's still in the game. Keyboard clicks, the chat's alive. The hype's building up like a beehive. This is the wait, the eerie calm before the chaos drops like a ticking bomb.
Starting soon, hold your breath. The clock ticks closer to digital death. Fault in the dark, you know the tune. Just wait for it, starting soon.
Shadow creeping, air feel dense. Room full of whispers, none make sense. Heartbeat echoes, the clocks tick slow. Vault cracks open, time to let it show. Specters lurking, cold in the chest. Ghostly voices, paranormally correct. Sips crawl upward, tension in the air. Baseline breathing, drums say beware. Paranormally correct, OG balls in effect. AG electric, beats resurrect. Money groove, spirits connect. OG balls in effect. OG vault, always direct. Paranormally correct, OG balls in effect. Energy effect, beats resurrect. Money groove, spirits connect. OG balls in effect. OG vault, always direct.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, so it's time for this week's Paranormally Correct live stream. Let's go. We got all the homies in the chat. Rob T first in the chat as always. And if you see that ISU grad name, that's not like a super fan or anything. That's me. For some reason, when I use this app for my chat, it pops me up on my other YouTube name. It's not like somebody else. It's just me. Shout out to Grandma Moore's in the chat. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to have a fun show today, in my opinion. Denny OC's in the building. Ahoy, ahoy, my man. His favorite Tuesday show, or so he says. I don't know how you're going to feel about it today, because it's going to be a wild one after everything that's going on. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know where you guys lean, really. A lot of the people in the chat. I know where Grandma Moore leans. And you guys don't have to tell me which way you lean. But after what's going on right now in America, in the world, I don't know, it feels like you got to pick a side. Maybe not. I mean, I'm wrong. Thank you, Bitcoin BMW. I appreciate you, my man. It's all AI music, I'm not going to lie. But you do have to, like, go through and specify and then go through, like, 12, 13 different tracks before you find one that sounds the way you want it to sound perfect. But I thought that one turned out pretty good. Vault Duro. I ain't no Maduro fan. I don't know enough about him. See, I had to learn about Palestine and Israel. I remember somebody asking me during a VV drop stream about Palestine and Israel before that October 6th stuff happened, and I was like, I don't know anything about it. It's complicated, and I don't have no reason to know anything about it. Then that happened. Now I know everything about it. And then we have Ukraine and Russia, and I got to learn all about that. Now I got to learn about the history of Venezuela. I don't give a crap about no Venezuela, but now you kind of got to know if you want to, you know, be in the conversation about what's going on right now. Do you say he's leaning towards the world is effed? We are cooked. At least America. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't. We'll get into it for sure. But first, we got to do our normal first topic, which is paranormal. And I do got some good paranormal stuff for you today. I only got 2 paranormal incidents that I want to cover because both of them kind of take a minute. However, in my opinion, they're really good. We're getting into ghosts and stuff again on this one. And I just recently, 2 or 3 days ago, I'm arguing with somebody about politics on Twitter, and I guess they went and looked at my profile, and they come back and like, how can you be telling me what's right? You believe ghosts are real. And I'm like, you don't? I mean, at this point, I mean, go and do some research. I'm going to show you this first story. And if you guys can give me any type of explanation for this other than it was a ghost, then I'll shut up. I'll admit that I'm wrong. But I'm telling you, on this, there is no explanation whatsoever. And it's kind of a sad story. We're going to start off, let's see, in Utah. And it's 10 years ago. This is 2015 in Utah. There'll be a little bit of sound somewhere in here. All right, so this is Jennifer Grossback and her daughter Lily. And that was their ages at the time of a crash. Because what happened was, on their way home, somehow or another, she was driving and she went off the side of a bridge. And Lily was in the back seat, locked up, of course, in a child seat. Let me continue it a little bit. This is the bridge. There's their SUV, and it landed upside down. So this is, we're going to go straight into the body cam footage here. And what happened, and you'll see they all tell you about this. Apparently this was a big national story 10 years ago. I wasn't paying attention to stuff at the time, like it was like 4 or 5, so I was zoned out. Maybe you guys have already heard about it. But what happened is these 4 rescuers went up to go flip the SUV back over. And as they're flipping it over, they hear a woman's voice call out to them, "Help me." So they finally get it flipped all the way over, and they can see that the mother, the lady, she had already passed away for sure. But the infant was still alive in the back seat, but she was completely unconscious. And all of them heard the voice of "Help me." So who said that? Oh, sorry. Here we go.
Watch out, guys. Don't get squished. Come on. Go. Watch out. Watch out. Anybody hear us? Whoa.
And so at that time, right before maybe they yelled out, "Can anybody hear me?" they hear this voice, and you can see another body cam footage where the guy's saying, "I hear you, we're on our way, or we're trying to get to you." But none of the body cams picked up the voice itself. But all 4 of the guys say they heard it. In fact, they're like on CNN talking about it, so watch.
There's a bear, Brian. Brian, get up here, though.
And they did end up saving
we heard
the baby.
something saying, help us inside. And so it was at that point that we, said we have to get in that car now. And we all, the 4 of us, were able to push the car on its side. And that's when I looked inside and was able to see the child infant strapped in the back seat.
So you actually heard a voice calling out, "Help me." Do you know who that was?
At first we didn't know if it was someone inside the car, if it was what that voice was. We assumed, or I assumed, that it was someone in the car saying, "Help me." That's why we responded saying, we're trying, we're going to get inside and help you, we're doing the best we can. And that was just extra motivation and to get inside the car and figure out who was in there. It wasn't until after we flipped it that we saw the mother, who we know now was deceased at the time, and the child was in the back seat. And so it wasn't until after the early process, and we got together and we all heard the same, voice.
And Jared, you heard that voice as well?
Yes, I did.
So that's the story. Rob T makes a point. She said it, and then she died. But I think my assumption was, and you got to keep in mind that was a cop, so it had to take them a while to get there. Those were like first responders. They weren't people that saw it happen as it happened and jumped out. And it landed upside down in a river. So I thought she would probably died on impact, especially the way the car looked. But I hear you. Maybe she said it right then and then died. I don't know. I don't know how bad her injuries are. I gotta admit, I didn't really take that into consideration. I just assumed that she died on impact, or at least drowned. She was underneath, right? Okay, this was my first. It wasn't my best one of the day. Some skeptics on that one. Okay, on this next one, I'm a little skeptical too. And on this one, it is not safe for work. I was gonna bleep out all the F words, and then I realized this is Tennessee. There's going to be a ton of F words. I couldn't bleep them all out. So this one is, like I said, from Tennessee, and it's going to have a lot of F words in it. So just tell you right now.
Don't let your kids watch it.
Okay, we're going to, let's see, Tommy Wells, Rockwood, Tennessee. And these videos are from 14 years ago. He started a YouTube channel. He posted 4 videos, never posted again. And didn't get a lot of views for a while until about 3 years ago. One of the big paranormal channels talked about it, and then it started getting a lot of views. So I'm going to be trying to figure out, like, are they acting here? How could they have faked this? And I want y'all to do the same thing. The reason I'm showing it to you because I can't come up with a way that they could have possibly faked this that I could think of. Look at them. They don't look like the type of people that are engineers to be able to figure out how to fake all this stuff. So let's just go ahead and get into it. This guy says that he has been haunted all his life, and him and his wife have been going to these houses. The ghost shows up, so they move, and everything's fine for like 3 or 4 months, and then the ghost comes back. And then they move again, and then everything's fine 3 or 4 months, and the ghost comes back. So that's his story. Let me read the chat before we start it up though. Don't ghosts usually show themselves and not talk? No, I've seen several of them. See, those ones just don't convince me as much because it could be somebody in the background. But I've seen a lot of them where they're like, the one of them's a cop cam. Actually, I was just looking at it the other day. They're searching for this girl that passed away, and they're hearing this voice saying, "I'm here," or something like this. From the cops' perspective of it, that'd mess with your head for sure, 100%. Cops are trying to get a made-for-TV movie, so they embellished the story. There were 4 of them. They would have had to be in cahoots. So I don't know. All right, so this one starts off with the first video, and the first video is basically they finally got a camera. They hadn't had a camera before. This isn't back when people had cameras on their phones. This was 14 or 15 years ago. So they finally got a camera, and they're at this new house, and they hadn't seen a ghost yet at the new house, and they're having a birthday party. So one thing I want to think about this as we get into it is like how mean it would be if they were doing this and tricking their kid too. I mean, doing this even if it was for views, and scaring their kid like this? Or is the kid acting? Usually if a kid's acting, you can tell.
This is Christina's birthday party, and everyone at it, there's Brianna, her little cousin, there's Haley, her other cousin, and there's her daddy Tommy. Hello. And here's her Aunt Misty. And here's her Uncle Joey. What up with it? What up with it? Alrighty, let's go, yes. Daddy lighting the candles.
So we can get you a little cake on camera so we can remember your party. And we'll give the happy birthday to you.
Guess I gotta fast forward a little bit.
Happy birthday to you.
Let the suspense build.
Happy birthday, dear Chrissy.
Yet.
Happy birthday to you.
Yay! Let me candles out, girl.
She gonna blow it up? Yeah.
You gonna cut the cake out, Mama, or you want me to?
Go ahead, I'm running the camera.
Alrighty.
Daddy's cutting the cake.
Did you like the bicycle and stuff you got for your birthday?
Oh my God, Tommy, it's gonna start again. Oh my God,
man.
no.
It ain't gotta mess everything up.
He's gonna mess this up for everybody now.
Come on, sissy. Come on, baby, come on. I don't know what's gonna happen. Come on. This is ridiculous. Heck, I'm sorry, baby. Seems like it's messing everything in 4 seconds.
It's okay, it'll be alright.
God, okay, I wish you'd have had this at Jerry's house.
Okay, it might not
It's
do
just,
anything else, okay?
this stuff is starting again.
You alright?
I'm sorry, sweetie.
You okay?
I'm so sorry.
God damn. Oh God.
What the hell is going on? Go to the front room. Go to the front room, girls, go.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Miss, let's get out of here. Come on. Let's go to the living room.
Okay, and this is just the first video. So, on that one, I'm thinking about how can they mess with the water faucet like this. Maybe you got some kind of mechanical device to turn it on and off or something, but you're going to see that the water faucet doing some other weird stuff. Then when they throw all the stuff out of the cabinets, you've seen that before in ghost videos, there's probably ways to fix that. But when you got those cabinets going back and forth, and then one of them pops out and the other one's still going back and forth, I'm not exactly sure how you do that one. Rob T says the ghosts don't mess around in New Jersey. Yeah, but the Jersey Devil does. You know about the Jersey Devil, don't you? That one's actually really interesting. That was a train passing by? Psh, if that's what happens to my house when the train passes by, I'm moving anyway. I don't care if there's a ghost or not. All right, let's move on to the second video. And he invites his buddy over, Jerry, and he's showing him like the kind of stuff that's happening. The first thing that happens is the piano starts playing by itself. I'm always looking at the acting.
What is it, baby?
The hillbilly's acting.
Oh shit.
Oh, damn it.
The girl might be acting she cries the whole time.
Son of a bitch. Let me hold it, Jerry, real quick. Watch out.
Okay.
Here.
There it is again, Tommy. Tommy.
What is it? Y'all hear that? Have you checked it? What is it? I opened it up and looked, and I saw. Oh, we got a rat. We heard footsteps
What?
here a minute ago.
What?
Now maybe there's a way to do this, but then again, look at the people. Do they look like they have the knowledge to do this?
I wish fuck you could hear them goddamn footsteps and shit again. It sounded just like.
There's a lot more
just
stuff
like
that's gonna
human
happen too.
footsteps. It sounded like fucking, like, I don't know, like claws or fucking animal hoofs or something that was hitting the fucking floor. There wasn't nothing here. It came from the in through there, and it came right up to the piano, and the freaking piano started playing.
Yeah.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
The guy smart. He's like, let's get the F out of here. All right. So this is.
It's just like something.
They're just sitting around, but here in a minute they're going to try to do a seance. So this is some more stuff where they're just sitting around, hanging out, trying to figure out what's going on. They're just starting to get all these ghosts happenings, and they're recording it.
Doors open and slamming and shit on their own. It's all kinds of horse shit, I don't know.
He's getting some water here. And then watch the faucet.
Water pressure's quitting. The fuck?
It's what?
The fucking water's just.
What's wrong with the water?
Goddamn, I just filled the cup up. I don't know, it's just quit.
What? Honey, what is going on?
Everything in the whole freaking place. It's just dead.
It's the water ghost. But look, he goes over and it just starts working.
Oh, what the frick?
What the world? What?
I'm fine now.
What? That's crazy.
It seems hard to pull off to me. Later in this part of the video too, the microwave like kind of blows up as well, which wouldn't be too hard to fake.
You guys.
But now we're gonna get into the seance. So what they decide to do, of course, like any reasonable person, you got ghosts in your house, you gotta have a seance. So this one, some crazy stuff is happening. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of a spoiler because you're gonna see the bed moving. You're probably gonna be like, okay, they could fake that, but keep in mind that at the end of the video, they're gonna walk back there and take off the mattress and the bed springs of the bed. So I'm not exactly sure how they pulled that off. There's like 4 teenagers in the video. I feel like they would have been smirking or something. Maybe they were smirking a little bit. I mean, I don't know that they would have been able to keep a straight face while this was happening. So let's watch the seance.
Do the sounds, I'm not doing it.
Hey, you can sit there with us and do it too. You can sit there with us and help
But at the
us.
same time, this other stuff's
Well, it's
happening.
supposed to be 4 people with a seance anyways. I mean,
Watch the bed.
dude, fuck.
Got
What the
me.
fuck?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Look,
Got me.
dude. Whatever the hell did her stop?
Tommy.
I never heard anyone yell stop to a ghost.
Tommy,
either.
come on in here. Let's just turn his lights off and do this.
Dude, I gotta go, man.
Hold on, just sit still just a few minutes.
Can you
Just
stay there just for a few minutes, just till Sam gets here?
This-
Sam and Casey's supposed to be here in a minute.
turn his
I
lights
guess
off.
so,
Let's-
but
go, if you got a
fuck,
Bible and a
man.
candle,
Yeah, hold on.
get a Bible and a candle.
Hold on, I'll go get it.
What's up, Michael James? Watch this seance. They're about to try to catch this ghost.
No.
Tommy, where you at? Man.
That's say they keep leaving the houses, but the ghosts keep following them. All right, it's seance time. Let's start it up.
Light the candles. Listen.
Oh, shit, ain't wanting us to do this, Jared. Jacob tried to tell us he don't want us to do this.
Let's just do
Why
this.
is the floor hit?
Turn this light out. Leave that light on right there. In case something does happen, we have to get up.
These type of accents I hear every day.
Look, what? Look. What the?
Faucet's going
Oh, let's
again.
do this right quick.
The
Come on.
haunted faucet. That's not all.
Leslie, I'm sorry, babe. Come on, we gotta hold hands. Don't let go of each other's hands no matter what we do. You've got to stay in the circle and hold hands. Don't let go.
I'm not part of this circle, man.
If you let go of each other's hands, it's got control of it. It can,
Hold on, man.
God.
Look at that. Took friggin' water off it over again. Put the Bible in the middle of the
That's what
house.
I'm saying. Are they smart enough to pull it off a fake?
If they set them in the house, give us a sign, show us who you are. If you're evil,
Sorry, baby.
if you're evil,
Oh shit!
fuck, dude.
Son of a bitch, Jerry.
Hey, God damn.
Oh, damn.
Wait a minute,
Oh my God, hey, that's enough. That's not enough, man. That's not enough.
Okay. Let's get it. Let's quit. Turn this light on.
Hey, Leslie, I'm sorry.
What is that?
I don't know. This is a new one on me, Jerry.
Leslie. Where's she cut?
No.
Are you okay? Oh God, I'm sorry. Here, get her a friggin' rag. Here.
Some blood was dripping. You're in the kitchen. You're gonna take off your shirt. That's Tennessee.
see,
But
are you
though
good? Are
some
you hurt?
blood started dripping from the ceiling.
Tommy.
Hey, it's still
Go.
Wait a minute. Let's.
Come on, man. Bring the camera. Let's get out. Come on.
Wait, hold on. Come on.
Watch, here they go.
Take
Watch.
this off. Take this off. Shine that in there. Shine it in.
Shine it under the bed. See, it's got to be sitting here.
Look.
God damn, there ain't nothing. Check this shit out, Jacob. Get this off of it.
Too fuck. Let's get it. Go on. Let's get it.
God.
Yeah, guys, come on. Let's
Move.
get it.
Move. Get this. Get in here, man. Come on. Go.
Tell you what, those are two solid Trump votes right there.
Come on, guys. Jerry.
Let's.
Dude, when's Sam getting here?
I don't know.
Now they just freak out for a
I
while.
need to get
If
here
you don't
now,
watch this,
man.
The other guys get here. And everybody's freaking
They
out.
just went to Walmart to go get a drink. I don't know it.
I don't know. I'm gonna go through the whole thing, but like, here, I'll fast forward a little bit. As you can see, his buddies come here. She's crying the whole time. They're like, "What's going on?" But nobody really looks like they're acting too much. And I don't necessarily know. I mean, I feel like you could pull this off, especially if you're like a special effects expert. But do those dudes look like some special effects experts? That's my thing. And then when you say they're doing it for the views, then why not make any more videos? I've got their YouTube channel linked down in the description, as always. If you go to the YouTube channel, they only have 4 videos. They're all 14 years old. And I don't think they got a lot of views at first anyway, so maybe that's why they didn't do it. But if they were doing it for views, they would have kept going with that channel, I would think. But then if you look at their the fourth video, I didn't even add to this one. It looks really fake, I'm not gonna lie. But I can't explain how they're pulling all this off. They never were near the bed when it moved. Well, I heard it pump and powing whenever they were like getting really close to it, but I couldn't actually see it moving. I noticed whenever they pull up the mattress and the box springs, they're not showing me the top half of the bed, but it looks like maybe that's like in a cubby hole or something. Here, let's see if we can look at it a little better. So you never get like the full view, I guess. You definitely had some blood. How'd they get that blood to drip at the perfect time from the ceiling? I don't know, maybe somebody threw it up in the air, the guy holding the camera. Here's the bed. I mean, you kind of see everything.
Too fuck. Let's get it. Go on. Let's get it.
God.
Yeah, guys, come on. Let's get it.
Move.
Unless they're acting, I just feel like, unless they're acting on those accents, I feel like they don't have the skills to pull that off. I could be wrong. I'm just saying. There's nothing else to, because it was fake. Okay, you might be right. And plus, they're in Tennessee. They ain't got nothing better to do. And it didn't do well. Yeah, so they said forget it. What's up, Thanu? Good to see you, my man. We're talking about ghosts and haunted houses. I'm not able to convince anybody today. I had 2 stories, and neither one of them were convincing. I've had some convincing stuff in the past, I feel like. And I thought the first video especially was extra convincing, but I still don't believe y'all's explanation on that first one either. But all right, I'm gonna take an L on the paranormal today. I guess neither one of them was convincing. I'm not sure what I'm gonna get into paranormal wise next week. We gotta move away from ghosts though. I've been stuck on ghosts for a while now. I'm a big ghost guy, and we did UFOs last week. I'll find something new to talk about for sure. Maybe something more recent. Still haven't found out what's going on with what's underneath the pyramids, that's for sure. All right, but let's get into our sports topic, which there's not much going on in the world of sports anyway, not in my eyes. Even though I got my NFL jersey, I don't watch a lot of NFL these days. And no Chiefs, no Colts, no Cowboys. No Ravens. Did the Ravens not make the playoffs this year? I don't know if this is necessarily 100% accurate. I think there's still some wild card games left to be played. They got Seattle with the #1 seed and the Broncos with the #1 seed. This is the right one, ain't it? If I got the wrong year on here, I'm going to be mad. Trump segment before sports. No, the politics section takes a long time. I think people leave when I start talking politics. 15 or 20 minutes of vault on Trump. Oh, I've got so much stuff on politics, bro. Trust me, you're going to want me to shut up, I promise you. And I did some independent research on my politics topics. We're going to get into it. Like, I don't have much on sports. This is what I got. I think this is accurate. Watch the Bears at the 2 seed there going against the Packers. And I did want to let y'all know if anybody's trying to watch the wild card playoffs or any of the playoffs this weekend. Saturday, you got Rams versus Panthers, Packers versus Bears. Sunday, you got Bills and Jaguars, 49ers and Eagles, Chargers versus Patriots. I can't believe there's no Chiefs. Taylor Swift's got to be upset. And then Monday Night Football, Houston, Texas versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. What's up, the one? Good to see you, my man. Do you know what happened to Bud Thompson? I heard he passed away. I know. I heard about that from kind of like a random person who replied to one of my videos months ago. And I tried to reply back to him and find out what happened. And he sent me a link to like some kind of funeral post about him. It didn't have his picture, and it had his name, but his name, of course, is not Bud Thompson. I mean, technically, I don't necessarily know that 100% that is true. What if we found out one day that the person they were talking about was wrong, or maybe Bud Thompson was on a different name? I'm kind of hoping, pray for the best. And he's like, oh, it was all a joke. I wasn't actually. But I know he was really sick. His last few videos that he posted, he was talking about he was in the hospital for a long time. So, yeah, rest in peace for sure if it is true, which it sounds like it is. I didn't know what his real name was, so it's hard for me to look it up. I have a story, too. I don't know if you're going to believe me. Give me this story. Is it a paranormal story? Those are my favorite. Hurricanes, huge game tomorrow, college football. I've heard a couple of people say that. Miami Hurricanes. Is it a bowl? Yeah, it's January. It probably is a bowl. I don't know. National championship, maybe? Yeah, I haven't watched college football in a while. I've been stuck on the NBA for a long time. All right, that's all I got for you on sports. So let's get straight into the politics. There's going to be a lot in politics. A ton. All right, first thing I got to do is record something that I'm going to be posting on TikTok, because after last week's stream, with the hot topic being the Somali fraud, I clipped a few of my segments from last week's Paranormally Correct where I was talking about the Somali fraud and talking about the video, if you guys were watching, you remember, and showing how a lot of those daycares definitely had kids in there, because you can look at their most recent DHS inspections and see that their kids were present when the unannounced inspections were there. So I posted those videos on TikTok and YouTube, and I got not a lot of views, but a ton of comments. A lot of people saying that I'm crazy, especially on the video where I said that the girl says, "You're recording me," and not, "I'm afraid of you because of your collar," which is what Nick Shirley was trying to say that she said. And they also put that in the captions. So we're going to go over that one more time, because I'm going to prove to you that what she says is "you're recording." So watch.
Business.
Me, I'm scared of you too. How come I explain everything?
You're scared of me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of you're recording. You're recording.
Whenever she says "you're recording," watch her hand. Her hand goes from here back towards her. If she's saying because of your collar, then she's talking towards him. There's no reason at the end of that phrase for her hand to come back to her unless she's talking about what's happening to her. In this case, you're recording. And if you just listen to it broken down, 25% speed, there's no way you can hear collar at this point. It's definitely she's saying recording. Listen and watch her hand.
You're recording. Recording.
You can even hear her enunciate a little bit. Recording, ding. There's no ding in collar. And there's people that will reply to my videos and be like, "Oh, she 1000% said collar. There's no doubt at all. You're crazy. You're saying that you're lying." And it's like, just listen to it. How can you deny what I'm saying right here? How can you deny that she says recording, you're recording, and not because of your collar? Anybody still think at this point that she said because of your collar? I had 2 special editions on the last 10. Yeah, you're right. I don't believe you. About 3. My first 2 were special edition. Bro, I hope you don't know what I did on that drop. I got like 6 comments. What? Congratulations. Let's go. They knew hit it big on the Ninja Turtles drop. That was a big drop too, because that's our first appearance. Those are probably going for a ton. Congratulations. That's what happens if you just keep gambling on the drops. You're only spending 10, 15 a drop, 20 a drop, and then one day you hit something that's worth a couple thousand. Congratulations. All right, let's get into our politics topics after that little TikTok rebuttal. I always start off with something kind of funny, and I thought this was funny. Did y'all see this? Trump retweeted an article about the wind turbines killing falcons, but when he retweeted, he said the windmills are killing all of our beautiful bald eagles. He saw that falcon picture, and he thought it was a bald eagle. If Joe Biden did that, that would be proof that he has dementia. This feels like that time when the dress went viral, and we still don't know if it was really gray or pink. I still don't know. I'm in the minority on that one. Everybody says that it's like gold and white, and I say that it's purple and black. That's just what I see. That stuff was trippy. There's a few of those. I don't know if y'all remember, there was this dress. It was striped, and certain people, when you look at it, see two colors, purple, black, and the other people, when they look at it, they see white and gold. I don't understand. I mean, that should be in paranormal to me. It's wild. No problem. Congratulations. Yeah, 100%. That was a big drop. We'll never know what she really said. No, I got you recorded. She said, I just proved it. Yeah, that's what the replies I will get. I feel like I proved it. I could be wrong. All right. Happy anniversary to all the January 6ers. Today's January 6th, the anniversary of the insurrection in Washington, D.C. And today, I guess, in memorial of, the White House decided to post on the, I guess, government website this information about what really happened on January 6th. And the whole thing is like saying that it was not really an insurrection, and that it was actually all of the Nancy Pelosi's fault, and that Ashley Babbitt was a hero and she was murdered in cold, you can see her right there, murdered in cold blood. Stolen election was certified, saying that the election was literally stolen. And this is on official government documents. I mean, it seems like a joke to me, like that they're even allowed to do that. BB's Discord have the vault on it. Thoughts? BB's Discord have the vault on it. They're trolling me. That's all right. They kicked me out of there. So, what's up, self-projecting? Good to see you, my man. Yeah, it's probably a little bit of a troll. I'm gone. They don't care. In 2024, only 2 states voted unanimously. You got Oklahoma, who voted all red, and you got Massachusetts, who voted all blue. And this is a good example of kind of what the problem we're having in America right now. And I brought this up because I want to say something that's not very nice, but it's true. There's an intelligence gap in America, and if I was in charge, I would set a law that if you voted for Trump 3 times, you don't get to vote anymore. I mean, after the last week, after we find out for sure that he's in the Epstein files, I feel like I would be okay with that law. It sounds like a loss of freedom, and it is. But you obviously can't make good decisions. What the hell? Even people who voted for him just in that last election, after you know what he's about. Vault hit the secret rare Dana Dave Best Mint Floor 2400 and sold it for peanuts. Hey, they were telling me to sell that for 300 or 400. You were in the chat, Rob T, and I held strong. My diamond hands held out. And I was going to sell it for $777. I'm lucky to get $999. And I don't necessarily know that anybody would have bought it for $2,000. They're just pumping those prices. All right, this one was from more of a right-wing account that I completely agree with. Like, what the hell's going on here? So just from 2020, the amount of people that are on disability, so I guess they get disability checks from the government. It doesn't necessarily say that. It says with a disability. And it does say it's the labor force, but why is that big rise happening right there in 2020? Some people think because it's COVID, long COVID, and I feel like a lot of people might be using long COVID as a lie, as an excuse to get disability and get free money from the government, which would be fraud, which is what a lot of people are talking about right now, especially in Minnesota and everywhere else, about, oh, we got to stop these people that are defrauding our government, our tax dollars. These could be some of those people. How do you search those people? How do you, I mean, do we need to have private investigators go to their house to see if they're really sick? I almost feel like we could and we should, but we don't have the money for it. The rich have taken so much money away from the government that it has no ability to regulate or to enforce anything. That's the problem. We don't have the people to investigate that stuff. So is it going to keep happening? I don't know. I know that Trump's committing fraud and nobody seems to care about that. You know that all the yelling he did about Letitia James, is that her name? And then also Adam Schiff and all the mortgage fraud, and how this is a breaking the law and we must do something about it. He told Pam Bondi, and on live TV, or I think he actually tweeted about it, that you have to go after these people because it's mortgage fraud. It's unforgivable. Well, of course, do a little bit of digging, and Trump does the same thing. He's done it for years. This is one of the 2 places in Florida that he signed a mortgage for in the mid-1980s, claiming it was his primary residence, but he actually lived in New York. So the exact same thing that he accuses everybody else of doing, he does himself. No surprise there. I'm sure nobody's shocked by that one. This is kind of scary. So right now, people are able to drain our bank accounts just by using public information that's available on the internet. So it's not like you clicked a button, you did something to have your wallet drained. We're talking bank accounts. We're not even talking crypto wallets either. So now they're just going to start taking our money. We can't do nothing about it. Like, what can you do to stop this besides sign up for one of those services that supposedly remove your name from all these lists, but for all you know, they might be selling your information to somebody else. So I don't know how they do this, how they came up with this, but somehow they're able to rob people's bank accounts using public information. And we don't have any type of regulation right now to stop it because Trump got rid of the CFPB. I've been talking about this for a while, the Consumer Financial Protection Board. They were the anti-scam police. That was their whole job, was to stop that type of crime from happening. They even were supposed to stop the 35, they were supposed to cap the overdraft fees. But of course, as soon as Trump got into office, he rescinded that. And now the bank's making more money than ever on overdraft fees. And those, of course, are the people who can afford it the least. Those are the poorest people that have overdraft fees. And those are the ones that always suffer the most under a regime like this. It's time to join the dark side, do a WWE turnaround, and join Team Trump. You have to pay me more money than Trump Jr. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. And, of course, there's other fraud going on from people that Trump has pardoned. One guy that he pardoned, you can see is back in prison. He committed some more fraud. And we're looking at last week all the people that he pardoned that had already been proven to have committed fraud just because they were campaign donors or they bought a bunch of his crypto. So whenever you're coming at me with all this fraud in Minnesota, it's so bad, we got to do something. Because you're going to see here in a minute, the stuff that they're doing because of this so-called fraud is pretty freaking drastic. Then you got to at least look at your own fraud that's going on. Another good example is somebody on the right. My man Ron DeSantis in Florida. This happened like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and you don't hear about it from nobody. This is not on the mainstream news anywhere. Of course, it's not on Twitter anywhere. You have to really, really dig to find out. He scammed people out of $36 million. And you'll see that the people that he scammed was supposed to go to child welfare, opioid prevention, and health programs to fund ads and consultants opposing the 2024 ballot amendments on marijuana and abortion. He just put that in his pocket. Nobody says a word. If he's not Somalian or an immigrant, then I guess the fraud's okay. I still have the red one. I did sell a couple of different MAGA hats though. I've got the Gulf of America one, and it's hot. People are watching it. I got it up for like $30. They like that one. All right, and with all this going on, if you want to try to, like I said, they didn't show any of this stuff about Ron DeSantis in the media. If you want to try to get the truth out there, it's going to be really hard because now all these billionaire pedophiles own all of the media outlets. Trump's billionaire allies now control X, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok, Truth, Twitch. They own Fox News, CBS, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Post. All the local TVs are owned by that Rupert Murdoch guy, I think now. They control the AI that you're asking for your answers, the algorithms that's feeding your content. That's why you got to come here on Tuesday if you want to get the truth. Because I'm going to show y'all the truth here in a second. Jim Harbaugh is still coaching? He was coaching when I was literally a child. And I am old, sir. Get out of here. Oh, John Harbaugh. That might be a different Harbaugh. That might be his son. I was about to say. Jim's been around forever. Okay, so this was a bombshell report that really didn't get reported on much, of course, and that was that a bunch of federal judges came out together and said that U.S. government has lied in over 35 of these recent court cases, and that's just within the last year. They've been falsifying records, they've been faking declarations, and they've been faking sworn statements. Like, that's not a thing that's happened before. The U.S. government doesn't do that. Maybe once in a while, but 35 times? Like, this is the most corrupt administration in the history of the country, for sure. Greenland's definitely going to be, definitely be something I talk about. I don't know about making it our 51st state, though. Are you crazy? This was a big story like yesterday, which maybe 2 days ago. The House Republicans tried to slip in this Section 453 into the spending bill that would have given pesticide companies immunity from lawsuits for the harms they cause. These Republicans trying to slip this in. Luckily, though, and this was Thomas Massey, I guess he had something to do with it, the bill has been consolidated with 2 other appropriation bills, and that section was removed due to the public feedback. So enough people were upset about that, and they complained enough about it that they actually took that out of the bill. So that was something I was going to talk about before I found out that they were taking it out of the bill, and it ended up with a good ending, a happy ending. That's rare around here. But speaking of Maha, the CDC has decided they're no longer going to recommend all children be vaccinated against hepatitis A, hepatitis B, RSV, bacterial meningitis, rotavirus, influenza. I think the meningitis is the one a lot of the doctors on Twitter have been talking about. It makes no sense that you wouldn't vaccinate your kid for meningitis. I'm not a doctor, and I can't give you medical advice. I do think that, putting that many chemicals, that's what they're talking about. You're putting all these chemicals into a baby. At the same time, baby's a little tiny baby. How you can put in 100 different chemicals? True, but they're doctors and scientists, so it's like you kind of got to trust them. Like, what's their ulterior motive? That's the real question. Like, if you're saying that they're doing this for a bad reason, why would they do it if it wasn't to help your baby? Yeah, I know. I can understand that a little bit. I can understand that argument a bit. But why would they? I guess because they can make more money. I guess the more vaccines they give you, the more money that goes into their pocket. Yeah. Can't blame you, I guess, if you decide not to vaccinate your kid 100%, but you still got to get like the important ones, the other 11. Speaking of January 6th, Jack Smith testified to Congress just the other day that he had proof beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump engaged in a criminal scheme to overturn the results of the 2020 election. And in his whole entire deposition, Jack Smith's deposition was released the other day. It was released on New Year's Eve, like at midnight, like at the time that you most want to bury a story, is what they're saying, is why they released it. And really haven't heard a lot about the Jack Smith deposition. You can watch the whole entire deposition. It's really, really long. I think like 8 hours. So here's part of it. He said, we had also interviewed Boris Epstein. This is Jack Smith talking during his deposition. He says he corroborated that they were, in fact, trying to call senators. Now, these senators are saying that they were being spied on or whatever for no reason. He disassembled and tried to imply that the president hadn't directed him to do it, even though there was a text message saying specifically that they had. So this guy was lying, saying that Trump didn't tell him to contact these senators in order to try to overturn the election. But he has a text message where Trump literally does just that. He agreed that they tried to call these senators, that they had certain senators' numbers themselves and didn't need additional ones, and that would be, of course, Senator Cruz and probably good old Lindsey Graham. We're going to see Lindsey here in a second. And here's another exchange. It's like I said, it's 8 hours. There's a lot of crazy stuff in there. But this is kind of getting at the root of why we don't have all the information of why he's saying that Trump is definitely guilty of this crime. And I think this one is about keeping those documents, the top secret documents. The question to him was, and based on your indictment, is there information that led you to believe that he was aware that at least some of these documents are highly sensitive documents? Jack says yes. Can you draw any conclusions about his refusal to return these documents in spite of having been given multiple opportunities? Then Jack Smith answers, I don't think I can answer that question because it may involve non-public facts that are part of the final report that is currently under an injunction. So he can't give you this information because the Trump administration has placed an injunction on him talking about it. So when they continue, he's like, can you draw any conclusions about his motive for refusing to return the documents? And he says, unless you can point me to a public filing on that issue, I don't want to run any risk of running afoul of that injunction. And so without a public filing on that issue, I don't think I can answer that question. One last question. The interviewer asked, did you come across in the course of your investigation any evidence about why Trump took those documents in the first place? And he says the same thing. He can't give you that information. So he's got some information. He's got some dirt on Trump. He is just, by law, not allowed to give it up right now. $2,000 for Epstein files? I'll take the Epstein files, thanks. Is that a bargain? That seems like a bargain. Speaking of Epstein files, is that really what they're trying to distract us right now? Because there's a lot going on. I don't know. But Maybe it's a coincidence, maybe not. But back then, January 3rd, when all that stuff went down, I think the Venezuela attack began. It was the statutory date for the Department of Justice to explain its redactions in the Epstein file productions, which they, of course, have not. And to this day, have not. And they're even saying now, well, I'll get to that here in a second. They were going to run this big episode, this 60 Minutes episode, and it was all about the Epstein files, and that new lady over at CBS, Barry Weiss, completely canceled it. And I'll put my response on here too because it got a lot of likes, and it's probably true. The reason why she felt like it was okay to cancel that is because nobody's going to be talking about her canceling that right now, because what's going on with Venezuela is so huge it's going to take up the whole entire news cycle. But as I was just about to say, Trump's Department of Justice admitted in a letter to a federal judge that they received less than 1% of the Epstein files. I know they just found like 2 million more files or something. So at this point, they were supposed to have released all the Epstein files. They're saying that they have to go through them first, even though that wasn't part of the deal. And now they're saying, we've only gone through 1% so far. We got a long way to go. So they're trying to hold this off as long as they can. And I think they probably will. Like, they kind of have all the houses right now. They have all the offices. But what happens after the midterms if the Democrats take control of the Senate and the House of Representatives? Will they then be able to force the Epstein files? I don't see how. They've already passed the law. Trump signed the law signed the bill into law, and they're still not abiding by it. So I don't see how that helps either. All right. And then also my usual wealth inequality comment of the week says we can't have clean energy because it will destroy the oil industry. We can't have healthcare because it will destroy the health insurance industry. We can't have peace because it will destroy the weapons industry. So capitalism has built a system we can't afford to do the right thing in. And I'm not anti-capitalist. I think capitalism is good. It just needs to be checked, of course. But this guy makes a good point here because we should all have, like, not Teslas, but we should all have electric cars right now. It makes no sense that we're still building oil burning cars. The only reason we're building them is because the oil industry has so much power and controls congressmen and gets the laws and the regulations passed that it wants. And it's the same thing with the healthcare industry. Obviously, we should be getting rid of the health insurance companies. They are middlemen. They do nothing. They're absolutely leeches. They provide no real service. Look at every other country in the world. No other country has health insurance companies. Everybody else was smart enough to figure out that doesn't make sense. But the people who keep voting Republican keep getting tricked into universal health care is bad. It's extreme for some reason. And it goes on with destroying can't have peace because we'll destroy the weapon industry. And you can see they're having lots of wars right now. And the weapon industry company is very happy about it. And I just saw a tweet today. It was just a couple hours ago. I was going to copy and paste it. I don't think I got it in there in time. But it came from Trump. And they're talking about how they have to pass these new voter ID laws. And we got this midterm election coming up. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he knows that he's very unpopular right now, and the war in Venezuela is very unpopular. So he's talking about all this election fraud that's supposedly going on, but they can't never prove any of the election fraud. But if you really, really want to look for some election fraud, you'll find some, but it's going to come from the right. This is the dude that used to be the Turning Point leader. He had a whole freaking scheme to try to steal an election, and he got caught, and he pled guilty, so he admits that he did it. That's the real election fraud, but you're not going to see that all the illegals are voting like they claim. You never see any proof of it, but it seems to be happening so much that it's a huge problem. Yeah, well, I 1,000% disagree on that one. You won't know it until you try it. I guarantee if you try to take universal health care away from any of the countries that have it right now, the people will be in the streets rioting. Okay. This one is starting to get on my nerves. If you guys have watched for a while and you saw me on Tales from the Crypto with Mo Knows in our last episode, this is one of the things we argued about, and it's coming back up again. It's about this guy in Minnesota who shot 2 state senators, and I think their spouses as well. One of the ladies that was a state senator that passed away during the shooting was Melissa Hortman. And they're still coming up and trying to say that this guy was working for Tim Walz, that he was a Tim Walz fan. He did it for Tim Walz, and it's because of the illegal immigration. So we're going to find out right now. Is there anybody in the chat who still to this point thinks that the shooter here, his name's Vance something, was working for, what's his name, Tim Walz? Whether he's working for him or not, or was he doing this for Tim Walz? The whole healthcare system needs to be different. We need to get rid of the insurance companies. I mean, that's the hard part, coming up with another plan, another way to do it that makes sense, that everybody can afford, that gets everybody insured, that takes care of pre-existing conditions. It really gets complicated. All right. On this one, I did some research, and I'm going to, in my opinion, I'm going to prove it 100% right now. And I want to see if anybody can dispute it. All right, we're going to talk about this dude right now. What was his name again? Let me pull up his name so I know who I'm talking about. Vance Boelter. That's the guy who shot what's her name? Melissa Hortman, her husband, and 2 other people. So let's find out what we know about Vance Boelter. Just recently, Nick Shirley was tweeting about it, saying that why was she killed, talking about Melissa Hortman, after speaking out against illegal immigrants? Was she a threat to you and your fraudster scheme? He says this to Tim Waltz. So the argument here is that Melissa Hortman was killed by this Vance Boelter guy because she spoke out against illegal migrants. And I think the whole thing was about giving them health care, and she voted against it. She was crying about it because she felt bad for voting against it. And a lot of people are saying that was the motivation of why he shot her. And also, of course, that he worked for Tim Waltz. So keep that all in mind. Now here's some facts about him that we know, and I got all this linked down in the description as well. Boelter, who allegedly shot 2 Democratic state lawmakers, had included abortion right advocates and clinics on his hit list, according to the U.S. Attorney for the District of Minnesota. It was politically motivated, and there were clearly some through lines with abortion because of the groups that were on the list and other things that I've heard was in this manifesto. So it's 100% important to understand what his motivation here. Was it illegal immigrants? Was it illegal aliens? Or was it abortions? He had a whole hit list. It was all Democrats, but it also had a bunch of abortion clinics on it too. It didn't have illegal aliens or places where illegal aliens go on it, anything like that. It's clear that his motivation was abortion. Even all the lawmakers whose names were on the list, like Amy Klobuchar and Tim Waltz, were all worried that they were going to come to him. Of course, abortion providers were notified as well because that was his main motivation. His roommate told reporters that he considered abortion to be murder. A clip from 2 years ago that circulated after the shootings shows this guy, Vance Boelter, preaching that the country was in a bad place, that many U.S. churches don't oppose abortion. Both lawmakers that he allegedly shot, Hortman, who was killed along her husband, and John Hoffman, supported abortion rights. So can everybody agree? His motivation was abortion. He was upset about abortion. Of course, that's not something that a left-wing person will be upset about, but let's dig deeper here. Here's some video of him talking, and we'll just play a short clip of it. Not too long before he committed the assassinations. He went to some place in Africa as a Christian ministry, and here's some of the stuff he spoke about. You can see what he said right there about abortion, but here's some other views of his.
So there's no sin.
Et il n'y a aucun péché
That God can't take care
que
of.
Dieu ne peut pas enlever.
Nothing.
Il n'y a rien.
There's people, especially in America,
Il y a des gens, particulièrement aux États-Unis,
they don't know what sex they are. They don't know how their sexual orientation. They're confused.
ils ne savent pas ce qu'ils sont exactement, ils ont une confusion.
The enemy has gotten so far into their mind and their soul.
Et l'ennemi est entré dans le fond de leur pensée et de leur âme.
But this word
Mais cette parole
cuts deeper
va aux profondeurs
because it's living.
parce qu'elle est vivante.
Does that sound like a lefty to you? That's all right. Let's get deeper. Let's dig deeper into it. The big argument here is that he worked for Tim Waltz. Tim Waltz appointed him. He was working for Tim Waltz. So I dug in myself to find out who all Tim Waltz appointed to this particular board. This was the Governor's Workforce Development Board. If you look at the third name down there, you'll see Vance Boelter. He was appointed to this board along with 60 other people, bipartisan board, and his name's right there. If you look down the list a little bit further, 1, 2, 3, 4 names down, you'll see a guy named Stephen Colina. So, I'm doing a little research on this. I skipped names like Abdulwali Hussein. That guy's probably not going to be a right-wing guy. But the point is that Vance Boelter is not the only right-wing person that Tim Waltz appointed to this position. So if you look up Mr. Colina, you can see that one of his recent posts, he's talking about how he's proud of his wife for standing up to protect his daughter's future as well as girls and women. And his wife is tweeting about protecting their daughters. Minnesota is allowing males to compete in girls' sports. This guy talks a lot about transgender issues. In fact, do a little research on him, you can see something he said recently in a community board meeting. So my argument to you here is that he was also not a left-winger that Waltz appointed to that position. But I don't have to make that argument to you because just the other day, Steve Kalina himself posted this. There's been a lot of shameless attacks going back and forth in the past 36 hours in the name of politics. I'm not a Democrat nor a Waltz supporter, but I am an appointee on the Governor's Workforce Development Board, as I just showed you. I had some interaction with Vance Boelter, though I didn't really know him. And to clarify, there are 60-plus members of the GWDB. We rarely, if ever, interact with the governor, nor would the governor have any strong connections to us through the GWDB. What Vance Boelter did yesterday was an atrocity that should not be assigned to any political party, but rather mental health issues. To assign blame to Governor Waltz or anyone other than Vance Boelter is simply ignorance and shameful politics. So, is that not proof enough? Are we not in there with the proof? How could this guy be a left-wing dude? I mean, you can see in his voting record that he voted in the Republican primary in the last election. You can see what his roommate says about him. You could hear the words from himself. And you can see that other people who are also not left-wing people or Waltz supporters were also appointed to that same board. But yet the president himself is saying that this guy, Vance Boelter, worked for Waltz, assassinated Hortman for Waltz. You can see what Nick Shirley said. Now, after hearing all that, go back to what Nick Shirley said. Is there anybody still in the chat who thinks that this dude was killed this lady because she was speaking out about illegal migrants and he was doing it for Tim? I mean, it's just mind-blowing that people still believe it. And it's like not just a couple people, like a lot of people. Universal healthcare, 0% capital gains tax on crypto coming. Yeah, after crypto crashes to freaking... That's me, by the way, crypto ask you grad. My comments are limited on here. Everybody does it. I don't know why. I can't control what YouTube limits. People like the weirdest stuff too will get limited. Another Manchurian candidate. Okay. Bitcoin at Walmart. I've seen a lot of Bitcoin machines lately, and this is Indiana. Nobody go check the back of his neck for sure. For Sutures Neuralink, you might have a point there. I don't know, something happened to him, but you can see by his history, you can see by the other people that were appointed that the dude was not a Waltz employee and shooting the person for Waltz. All right, let's get into the Somali fraud stuff too. It's particular that Nick Shirley guy, the guy who all of a sudden got famous. Well, of course, you get famous for something like that, people are going to start doing some research. So how does this dude have so much money that him and his mom can just go around making these crazy videos? Well, his mom and her husband defrauded the company for over $500,000, and when they got sued, they only had to pay $20,000. So they just made $500,000 by defrauding a company, which they admitted to, they were found guilty of. Of course, it always happens with rich people. You paid me $20,000, now we're even. They got to keep the rest of the money. So no wonder they got the money to just send their kid out doing dumb stuff for YouTube. I mean, those are the facts. I mean, I don't know how you can dispute those facts at all. Have to be creative when typing? Yeah, that's true. That helps. Nick got rich overnight. OG, it's time to recalibrate. I got my Viva. I'm waiting for Viva to pump. It keeps falling. One day. Keep in mind, this Nick Shirley guy is the same guy who got caught paying, I don't know if they were illegal, just migrants, paying migrants $20 each to hold up signs that they're supporting Joe Biden. Like, this guy called out and everything. This is the New York Times. I've got the link down in the description. He got caught doing that in front of the White House. Let's see. Now he's claiming that the Minnesota fraud is at $18 billion for daycare fraud. Problem is the money allocated for child daycare for the entire country is $14 billion. So obviously, this dude's just making up stuff. He's going crazy. And if you want to get a better idea of who he is, keep in mind that he was sent to Israel in November of 2024 with a sponsorship from the same people that sponsor all these congressmen as soon as they get into office to go to Israel so they can get indoctrinated. And I think the Shirley guy is very close. I don't know about close, but he's definitely being promoted on purpose by Elon Musk. Like that video about the Minnesota fraud that he put out last week, I was looking at it on YouTube, and it only had like 100,000 views on YouTube, but it had over 2 million on Twitter. So it was Twitter that was pumping it. And of course, you know, Musk pumps what he wants to pump on there. And the guy that's in the video, which I think he's putting out a new interview with today, the David guy, of course, they never tell you his last name. They never tell you anything about him. People looked him up. His name's David Hawk. So he used to say stuff like Muslims are demons and every Somali in Minnesota is engaged in fraud, every single one of them. He's actually a Minnesota state lobbyist and a political activist. He's a lobbyist, bro. What do you expect? A real racist lobbyist. And they're acting like this guy is some kind of special reporter who's been investigating this on his own all the time. Shirley's main source is the lobbyist, a one-time right-wing candidate for Minnesota Attorney General whose full name is David Hawk. Accounts bearing his name of long online history posting about the Somali community in Minnesota. I've seen other posts that reportedly came from the same account that are like really, really racist that they're not even mentioning on here. But this is some of the stuff that was in particular about Somalis in Minnesota. So that's not necessarily the best source. And we already looked up all the information that the Nick Shirley video gave us about which daycares were supposedly didn't have kids, and then we looked up their inspection reports and saw that they did have kids. And then ABC Learning is one of the places that we looked up during last week's stream, and as soon as that Nick Shirley video came out the next day, the owner for ABC Learning put out a video that shows surveillance video of kids coming to and leaving the daycare that day, and then they showed them the video. There's like, I don't know, 15 kids in there. So people started investigating all this fraud that he supposedly uncovered, and they're still saying it. Like Elon Musk and Donald Trump Jr., all of them are like, oh, Nick Shirley has uncovered so much fraud. It's wild. And then, of course, this is a local reporter. This was like on the same days. Like I was in the daycare 2 days ago, and there were 40 kids there. 40. And then my man Loaf, I just saw this. I haven't watched this yet. I don't know if anybody watches Loaf. I like Loaf, so I just noticed that he investigated. I forgot that he lives in Minnesota. I don't know if he lives in Minneapolis, but if you want to check out somebody else's report on it, I'll be checking this out later. There's a lot of people. Everybody's going to this place now to find out if there are really kids there. And most people are finding out that there are kids as long as you get there within the operating hours, of course. This went viral. It got retweeted by Elon Musk. It got retweeted by a bunch of other huge accounts. And it's this guy saying that daycares in Minnesota have donated a combined $35 million to political campaigns in the last 2 years after receiving all of that taxpayer funding, which is wild. But it's not true. Of course, $35 million refers to government funding received by the CCAP, Child Care Assistance Program. And you can actually look at it, the one that he actually posted. And at the top here, it does say that it is from CCAP. And whenever people pointed this out to him, whenever he got community noted, and I didn't copy and paste this, I didn't add the screenshot, but his response to this was, so what that it's not real? We don't care anymore. We're just going to lie now. That was literally his response. It was kind of wild. And then as people started to figure out about the Somali fraud that everybody's referring to in the past, which causes them to believe that so much is going on right now, if you actually dig into that fraud, it all comes back to one lady, and guess about how Somali she is. She ain't Somali at all. That's Amy Bach, the founder and executive director of the nonprofit organization Feeding Our Fathers. And that's what she looks like after being convicted. She was the person in contact for at least 47 taxpayer-funded child cares in Minnesota. I'm sure they've been investigated since they were working with her. I don't know if she was like ripping them off or if they were working together. I feel like if they were working together, the cops, the investigators would have done something about it. But the whole thing is supposedly going back onto the Somali community when it actually, the ringleader of the whole thing is some white Karen, which is kind of wild to me. I don't know, maybe not. So they started doing another investigation after the Nick Shirley video. They're like, okay, if you're saying all this has happened, we're going to do a hardcore-based investigation into these daycares. And the official investigation clears Minnesota Somali child care programs. Everything operating normal, zero fraud found. The people who push the false claims are about to get hit with massive defamation lawsuits. No doubt about that. They got extra money. They got government money. They can sue you. We're taking millions in damages. Sources say the total could reach up to $100 million. So there is still a federal investigation going on, but it's like the Department of Justice. They just say stuff. They're not doing anything for real. But the actual local investigation found nothing. Found that the Nick Shirley video was all bullcrap, as we told you. Is stuff pumping right now here? Crypto's pumping a little bit. I guess the channel will decline a Tesla optimist. I will not be happy about it. I have one of those bumper stickers say that's not truthfully, but says, I bought this before Elon went crazy. Kryptoni, we're going to talk about NFT Paris. You know they canceled NFT Paris when we get to tech. That's kind of surprising and scary. So what's up with this? Why are they scapegoating the Somalis? Well, the Somalis have a stateless image. You can be like, oh, they come from this shithole. They're politically weak. They're all up in one area, so it's not like they have a lot of political power. They're refugee heavy. They're Muslims. They're black. So they decided to create this narrative and spread it around as much as possible. And there's a reason for it. And the reason is what's really important. If you're confused why the Trump administration is suddenly claiming that there's massive fraud in daycares without any evidence, it's about fraud. It's about it's not about fraud. It's not about fraud. It's about defunding childcare, and it's laid out completely in Project 2025, which I told you guys about last year. Project 2025 argues that the federal government should stop supporting large-scale childcare systems completely and instead support parents directly, just like they're trying to do a daycare. We'll give you $40 and you make it last. This is all part of the plan here. There's no plan to replace a real income, no wage replacement, no guarantee that families can survive on one paycheck, so that paying parents to stay home in the Project 2025 idea does not come anywhere close to replacing what a parent earns in the workforce. It's not a living wage. It's not sustainable. And this is their whole plan here. They're going to demonize daycares in general and childcare and government funding, and they're just going to say we're getting rid of all government funding. In fact, they already did it. First, he said that they were going to use the Department of Health and Human Services to freeze child care payments to all states after Minnesota fraud allegations. So these allegations that we can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt are fake, that the investigation that they just had showed was fake. Because of that, that's his excuse to freeze child care payments to all states. So you know that was part of their plan. That's they're trying to go with the Project 2025. They did that on purpose to create the narrative so that they could achieve their objective. That's kind of messed up. Now apparently they're cutting off $10 billion in funding child care to 5 blue states. Oh, okay. That's what a president does. Trump just declared the war on crypto is over. He's been saying bullish stuff about crypto for the last year, but it ain't done nothing but fall. I know Bitcoin's pumping a little bit. Yeah, he's been saying stuff and nothing's happening. All right, so that's my whole Somali fraud argument there. I don't know. I feel like they're doing it on purpose, like I said, to get rid of all federal funding for daycares. I don't think that's a good thing. If you're a single parent, I know I'm a single parent, you might need help. That's good for the whales, Kryptoni, but it doesn't help us little guys. All right, next up, Venezuela. I told y'all we had a lot to talk about today. Let me get a little coffee. So much talking that my throat's... Has that ever happened before? I've been talking a lot. Maybe I'm talking too fast. All right, as you probably heard, Trump has decided to attack Venezuela. His reasoning is that Venezuela currently is an imminent threat to America, whether it be by drugs or the immigrants that are coming from Venezuela. I don't really know how he's trying to rationalize it at this point. I think we all know it's oil at this point, but oops. And of course, Maduro has been captured and sent to New York. He just, I think today, pled not guilty to all the charges. I've got the charges down below, but it was kind of interesting. I just heard about this before we went live, that whenever they showed up in court today, his wife was there and had a big bandage on her face like she had gotten smacked up in the face or something. I don't know exactly what that was all about. So basically, this is what they did. They had this huge, awesome operation about how they're going to capture Maduro. They went in, they got him in like 5 minutes. I heard like 100 Venezuelans were killed. I haven't seen any confirmation. I saw where one lady apparently died. I don't know. But apparently no Americans got killed. I also heard that some Americans got injured. No, they don't really confirm anything. But I think this picture sums it up pretty well. That was their plan. They didn't have any plan at all for what they're going to do afterwards. We turned off Venezuela's air defense. Some people think that they were working with that vice president, Desi Rodriguez. I don't know. Nothing confirmed. What is confirmed, though, is that somebody made a bet on Polymarket about when this was going to happen, They clearly had inside information. They just created the account. They've already made $400,000. And once again, the Trump administration is manipulating the market to make money for themselves. I don't know who it is, but it has to be somebody in the Trump administration, because who else would have that inside information? Well, actually, you're going to find out that a couple other people did have inside information. Congressmen didn't. They decided not to inform Congress, but it'll be interesting to see who they did inform. And of course, as soon as this happened, the new propagandist of the week, Nick Shirley, started putting out fake videos of Venezuelans celebrating. Alex Jones did the same thing. Supposedly, it was all these Venezuelans that were so happy about Maduro being taken out of power. They're all celebrating in the streets. One of them was like the World Cup celebration from like 2 years ago. And the guy said the average social media consumer has seen 7 AI Maduro is gone celebrations, 3 real celebration videos from soccer matches, so does Maduro is gone celebrations, 4 AI pro-Maduro rallies, 2 pro-Maduro rallies from the past, and 6 heated rivalry edits in the past 24 hours. Basically, hard to believe what you're seeing out there. They're showing you everything, and you don't know what's real and what's not. So let's hear what Donald Trump has to say about the invasion, and also everybody's favorite little munchkin, Lindsey Graham.
The oil companies are going to go in and rebuild their system. They're going to spend billions of dollars, and they're going to take the oil out of the ground, and we're taking back what they stole. Remember, they stole our property. It was the greatest theft in the history of America. Nobody has ever stolen our property like they have. They took our oil away from us. They took the infrastructure away. And all that infrastructure is rotted and decayed. And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild it. We're not going to spend very much money at all, if anything. But the oil companies are going to go, we're going to take our oil back. But we're going to also do things that, when you look at what he did, the drugs are terrible. But also terrible, he sent hundreds of thousands of people into our country that should not be here. And that means from prisons. That means Tren de Aragua, the gang, yes. Tren de Aragua, that comes out of Maduro's country.
And as to this... All right, before we get on to Lindsey Graham talking about how we're going to take Cuba next, which is the next part of this, both of these happened on Air Force One. One thing I want to point out is the go tie. If you go back and look at some other stuff that happened in the past, and I kind of want to do a little research on this, it seems like every time Trump pulls off a scam, he wears a go tie next. With that being said, he's complaining about all the illegal immigration that came from Venezuela, but the reason that happened is because of the sanctions that he put in place whenever he was in office the first time, and the reason he did that was to try to weaken the country so they could get the oil. And the reason that Venezuela has pretty much been failing the last 20 years is because when Hugo Chavez came in, his idea was to share the wealth of their oil, and not just oil. You got to keep in mind that Venezuela has iron ore, they got gold, they got silver. He wants to share that wealth with all the people. And they're like, that's socialism, and the oil companies are not having it. The oil companies have to keep that money up into their top 1%. And that's the reason why all the sanctions, not just from America, but from all the other countries, came in on Venezuela and crashed their economy. Now, of course, Lindsey Graham, he's been a war hawk forever. He sees all this happening. He's like, oh, let's get Cuba next.
Commander-in-Chief. He did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans. This is a big frigging day. And everybody in the world is thinking differently than they were just a few days ago because of what you did.
The whole idea that the Maduro guy, and I don't know a lot about Maduro. I hear a lot of people on the left saying that he's a really bad leader. I don't know. But the whole idea that he leads this drug cartel makes no sense at all. The cartel, they actually named it, was like the Cartel of the Sun. They named that in the indictment. And then they realized that the Cartel of the Sun is something that American intelligence made up out of the thin blue air. It doesn't exist. So they had to take it out of the indictment. They removed that from the indictment today because it was completely made up. If you have the most oil in the world, why do you need to sell drugs? And I think Maduro said that himself. I'd like to meet some Cuban ladies. Can we get that open so we can go over there? They have Bitcoin too? True. At this point, man, I don't know about crypto. It's scary. I want to be putting a lot of money into it. It's pretty clear what's happening. So here's a couple I guess, kind of conspiracy theories. Let me know what y'all think. There's a few of these. What y'all think about what's going on with Venezuela? This guy, Owen Schroyer, says the new world order is here. You got AI, robotics, automation, and potentially with the financial collapse. We're not sure what it will mean for civilization, but the establishment is seizing as many strategic assets as possible before the shifting world stops, and in particular, energy. So it kind of feels like these top 1%'s factioning off and trying to seize all as many assets as possible, because what's going to happen with AI? Is it going to collapse society? And then this guy says the race for resources continues on. Critical minerals, oil, precious metals, and it's all to satisfy the AI demands for massive energy. That might be why everybody's trying to get energy right now. They know that AI and all these data centers are going to keep growing. We run out of energy. I mean, but can't you just use solar power? They don't want you to use solar power, though. I don't know. There's a couple of theories. Here's another one. I thought was pretty interesting. Nat Rothschild, whenever it happened, tweeted out, "Well done, Donald J. Trump." And this guy pointed out that it's kind of ironic that he gets an attaboy from a member of the Rothschild family after the unprovoked attack on Venezuela. And if you look it up, Venezuela does not have a Rothschild central bank. A lot of people always talk about it has to do with the central bank. Most countries do have a central bank. The Central Bank of Venezuela, I don't know why I said it right, it's Banco Central de Venezuela, is a publicly owned institution. Like I said, they're trying to share their country's wealth with their people. They're not having that. They don't like that at all. They want to keep that wealth to themselves. Too late, already put too much money in. Hold diamond hands. Trump has already declared the blockchain as the new way of banking. He's been saying all this stuff, but what's the price been doing, Kryptoni? What's the price been doing, bro? Monroe Doctrine mandatory, the Monroe Doctrine. I guess the Monroe Doctrine pretty much says that if you're in our hemisphere and we're the biggest country, then we own you, is basically what it says. Here's a quote that Trump gave while being questioned about the attack in Venezuela. Is it possible that the U.S. ends up administering Venezuela for years? And Trump says, well, it won't cost us anything because all the money coming out of the ground is very substantial. So it's funny that all the other people, the Marco Rubios, will be saying stuff like, no, it's because of the drugs and the illegal aliens, it's narco-terrorism. But anytime they get to Trump's just like, nah, it's the oil. We're just going to take the oil. That's just all there is. And it's funny that they've been talking about nation building leading up to all these elections. We got to stop with all the nation building. We got to stop with the wars for oil. No new wars, no new foreign wars. I mean, they were chanting that at his rallies. And then he attacks Venezuela to steal their oil, and they're cheering. I feel like he's losing so much support at this point. I mean, you're just chipping away every little thing you do. This should be a big one, in my opinion. Last year, Trump openly promised American oil executives that they're going to get a great deal if they donate $1 billion to his campaign. This was a news story. Everybody knew it. And now, guess what? Venezuela. There's actually been an update on that because I'll show you when we get to Chevron. Apparently, people aren't so happy with the Venezuela deal, and the oil companies aren't necessarily going for it, which I'd be surprised. We'll have to see what happens with that. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's a tale as old as time. Socialize the cost, privatize the gains. U.S. may subsidize oil companies to rebuild Venezuela's energy infrastructure. And I have a video of that. I should have put it right here. Let me put it up here so we can go right to it. So basically what they're saying there is that our tax money paid for our military to go over there, abduct Maduro, and take control of the region, take control of the country. All paid for tax money, military. All right. And then the oil companies are going to come in and they're going to build all the infrastructure for taking the oil out of the ground. But we're going to pay the oil companies back for that. They're going to do that with tax money. And if you don't believe me, here's Trump himself.
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing. But
who do you think's going to reimburse them? Trump ain't reimbursing them. He just said. We got to play this again?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly.
Paid for the oil companies by directly, and
they will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but
by tax dollars. They will be reimbursed by tax dollars, and they can charge as much as they want. So the big oil companies are going to come in and build all this oil infrastructure that they need, charge whatever they want, And we, the taxpayers, are going to pay for it. And when they get that oil out of the ground, who's going to get the profits? Kryptonian, do you think you're going to get the profits? DNOC, do you think you're going to get... We're not getting any of those profits. It makes no sense that we're paying for all this for these oil company billionaires to get richer. How can you support this? Who are the people that are voting for this? Like I said, if you voted for Trump, you shouldn't be able to vote no more. It's ridiculous. Tell me where I'm wrong. Things don't happen when we want them to, but they happen. I would rather be ready than not. That's why I hold ETH. I still got me some NFTs. I'm still holding a little something. Not as much as you, I'm sure. You got more money than me, though, bro. You writing songs for Chris Brown. I can't compete. DNLC says, I do think long-term Bitcoin will be a great hedge against the dollar. I always thought that, yeah. Next few months may have some decent ups and downs. But with this administration right now, the uncertainty of not only the Trump administration, but what's going to happen with AI, you don't know what's going to happen with crypto in general. Nobody knows. It's hard to figure out. Stan, you said you wanted a tip for Polymarket. Wait till I get to, I think, everything else. I got the best tip for you. Infinite money glitch. Give me $2,000 in UBI. Are they going to do UBI? I highly doubt it. The Trump administration ain't doing no UBI. You know what I mean? Maybe if you voted for him, you get UBI if you voted for him. All right, I thought this was pretty funny. So this is General Keats, I think. Let me check it. General Jack Keane. So he's on Fox News, and he's talking about what's going on in Venezuela right when it happened.
Okay, the implications here are really great for the Venezuelan people. 27 Israel.
He accidentally said Israel. You think there's a reason for that? This actually has a lot to do with Israel, what's going on right now. If you look at Chevron, I think I went one a little too early on that. I had another one about Chevron, the guy who they got crap. Oh well. So basically, the deal was this Singer guy, and I think there's going to be a screenshot of it here in a minute. We'll get to it in a second. He owns Chevron, and he is a big Republican donor, and in particular, he's a big donor to Donald Trump. So the person that's going to apparently profit the most from them taking the oil in Venezuela is Chevron, because they're already set up there. However, this just happened right before I went live, saying that Chevron is collapsing as people realize nothing changed in Venezuela. I don't really understand that. You're going to see the screenshot in a minute about how Singer is involved with it. You would think that they'd be making, the stock would be going up right now. Aren't they getting all this new oil? Trump is utterly lying, or utterly wrong and utterly lying. This is a Venezuelan historian. So he says that when Trump says the oil companies were stolen from the Americans, it's a lie. They were fully compensated. They had received compensation over and over and over in addition to what they had extracted in profits out of Venezuela previously. So this whole idea that Venezuela stole all this from us is made up by Trump, and he's basically saying that we helped build the infrastructure, so we own all the oil now, and they decided to socialize their oil profits, so that's stealing from us, which is just nonsense, and the historians agree. 70K Bitcoin or lower is still on the table. If it goes that low with all this news, it will make a lot of crypto millionaires. I feel like they're purposely, they know that people are longing it right now. So every time it gets a little bit of a pump, people put in their longs, and then they liquidate them, and it crashes. So look at some of the charges that your boy Maduro was charged with today. One of them was about the laws. He's purchasing machine guns in Venezuela. So it's kind of funny that MAGA says that you can't restrict our guns in any way, even if school kids get shot. But also the same people say the leader of this foreign nation failed to register his firearm as required by our 1934 law in Venezuela. Why does our 1934 law matter at all to what he does in Venezuela? That's one of the charges that's in the indictment against Nicolas Maduro. What? How? The Trump Department of Justice, Maduro's indictment accuses him of leading the Cartel de los Soles. That's what I was just talking about, which is not a real thing. Today they took it completely off. That was in the indictment. A fake, made up, what's it called when you have the people in Mexico? Cartel. A fake, made up cartel. I don't know why I pointed out Mexico. That's usually where the cartels are. Good, keep them packed, because if it pumps, you're going to be balling. I think a lot of people have their bags packed, and it's a lot of the Trump people, and Trump wants his people to make money. I mean, his top people, his 1% people. So I do think crypto is going to eventually pump. So this is the Maria Corina Machado lady. Like I said earlier, I think it's Desi Rodriguez, who is the vice president under Maduro, and she has now been sworn in as the new president. Now, she says that Maduro is still the president, rightfully, and she's still part of his regime. So this whole idea where Trump says that Maduro and his regime are really some narco traffickers and they're terrorists and they take out Maduro, well then if his whole regime are all these bad people, why would you then let his vice president become president? I know a lot of people say that this Maria Corina Machado lady should have been made the president by Donald Trump because she's the lady who got the Peace Prize. And when she got the Peace Prize, she dedicated it to Donald Trump. Problem with her, though, is that she only has like 8% of support in Venezuela. People don't like her there. And everybody expected Trump to go ahead and make her the new president because she dedicated her Peace Prize to him. Well, I don't have the screenshot for it, but if you look it up, the people in the White House are saying the reason that he's not making her president is because she accepted the Peace Prize. And in this interview, I guess she heard it. Now she's saying that she wants to share the Peace Prize with Trump. So Trump is apparently mad that not only did she get the Peace Prize, but she accepted it, whereas she could have said, oh, no, it belongs to Donald Trump, and then she would be the president right now. That's what they're saying. Silver been going crazy the last couple of weeks. I wish I had some. Not been going crazy the last couple of weeks. I haven't looked, but I'm just assuming. So like I was saying earlier about the sanctions, one reason why Venezuela's in the condition that it's in, not only do they have bad leaders, of course, Hugo Chavez was somebody who tried an insurrection. He tried to take over Venezuela as a military man twice and failed, and then he became elected president. And as he was elected president, like I said, he wants to share the wealth of the country and the natural resources with its citizens. And for doing that, you can see all the sanctions that not only America, but the rest of the world put on them. And that's why they don't pump that much of the oil. They also have this really thick crude oil, which is different than the type of oil that we produce in America, and it's harder to refine. You got to have more equipment to refine it. Their equipment's more expensive, heavier. This the time to buy in to Omi? I don't know about that. Alejandro's in the house. What's up, Alejandro? We're talking politics. I got deep into it today. I feel like I told you I had a lot. So now we got this war going on, and keep in mind, whenever Trump became president, he was saying he's the peace president. When he's running for president, he's like, I'm the no new wars president. I'm the peace president. You got your girl Tulsi Gabbard. She used to tweet out about how people need to stay out of Venezuela and let the Venezuelan people determine their own future. She even mentioned recently that it's all about the oil when it comes to Venezuela. John Bolton just exposed the real motive for innovation in Venezuela. We're in conversation with major American companies right now. They're going to take that oil. And Tulsi Gabbard, why do I keep saying that? Tulsi Gabbard is not having it, apparently. But then when Trump does it, I'm sure she's okay with it. Apparently she hasn't made any comments about it at all. Even back in 2024, you got Stephen Miller talking about it. It says, if you vote for Kamala, Liz Cheney becomes defense secretary and we invade a dozen countries. But what happened? You didn't vote for Kamala. Trump became president and we invaded a dozen countries. It wasn't the Democrats that were doing it. It was the Republicans, of course. And after all the time, Trump has told everybody that this is not what he's going to do if you vote for me. In fact, here's a little clip.
Our current strategy of nation building and regime change is a proven absolute failure.
We will break the cycle of regime change.
We must abandon the failed policy of nation building and regime change that Hillary Clinton pushed in Iraq, in Libya, in Egypt, and in Syria. Regime change takes chaos.
You've seen how that works over the last 20 years. That hasn't been too good.
Not a reckless interventionist globalism.
We're getting out of the nation-building business.
We're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place.
What? So, of course, he told you one thing, so you would vote for him, and then once you voted for him, he did the opposite of the thing that he told you he was going to do. That's called scammed. You got scammed. Canada Lightweight wants to be part of the U.S. anyways. No, they don't. Absolutely nobody wants to be. I mean, USA is the most hated country in the world by far right now. I mean, I've been watching some stuff from like different countries, like their news broadcasts. It is not good. Obviously, of course not. He's not engaging in a war. These are missions. I mean, if you stole our leader, I would say we're at war. I lived in Venezuela during the 1992 coup attempt. I remember seeing the military tanks driving around. Everything shut down for a few days. What the hell was that like? I want to have you on and interview you about that. That's interesting. So you were a resident in Venezuela? This is the American coup? See, this was before, I mean, Trump's first term, they did a lot of damage to Venezuela's economy, but you go back even back to 1992 when we were doing coup attempts. Like, we've been messing with this country forever. Why? Because they have the most oil in the world. Obviously, that's why. Canada has all the best resources, but we aren't allowed to process any of it. Why not? Too cold? It's in ice, ain't it? It's all in ice. We got all this oil, we got these diamonds and some gold, but it's locked up in these glaciers, and we ain't got enough tools to chip them out. I don't know if that's why. I made it up. Okay, keep on going. Plans for secret U.S. raid to capture Maduro leaked to the Washington Post and the New York Times before it happened. Both decided not to publish it to protect the U.S. troops. So they weren't telling the people in Congress. They weren't telling any of the senators. They weren't telling any of the leaders of any of the House of Representatives because they were afraid they were going to leak it. But actually, it already leaked. Apparently, the New York Times and the Washington Post both had information about it. And whenever they asked Trump about it, did you speak with the oil companies before the operation? Did you tip them off? And Trump says, sure, yeah, before and after. So now this is an oligarchy right here. He called up the oil companies. He called up the top 1%, the rich people, and talked to them about what they're getting ready to do in Venezuela. But he didn't tell like the congressman. And you have to, I mean, Congress has to declare war unless it's an emergency situation. But there's no way you can pretend like Venezuela was any threat to America. And of course, right after that happened, your girl, Katie Miller, Stephen Miller, the vampire's wife, and she's cute too. Like, how he got her, I'll never know, I'll tell you. Right after that, she tweets out a picture of Greenland with an American flag over it, which Tim Miller thinks is insane. I don't know who Tim Miller is, but I agree with Tim. In summary, and this is the reason why they're talking about Greenland, it's exceptionally rich in minerals. They got rare earth elements, base metals, precious metals, industrial metals. Extraction is limited by environmental logistics. It's the ice. These resources position Greenland as potentially critical player in global mineral supply. They're trying to, like we talked about earlier, they're trying to get all these minerals. They're trying to grab all the resources before whatever goes down goes down. Maybe it's just because Trump's in office and they feel empowered and they're able to do it right now. But none of this stuff none of these riches that they gain from all this conquest will ever see us. Or they will never benefit it from whatsoever. Maybe we get gas 2 cents cheaper. I even doubt that. I put this on there because of the last line. So I guess maybe this is a guy from Greenland. He says, when Trump decides to go get Greenland, he's just going to fly in and kidnap our prime minister like he did in Venezuela. You have an unscrupulous and clinically insane idiot elected as your president, and he wants to own the world. I have absolutely no trust in any of you Americans, whether you pronounced MAGA or if you didn't vote for the guy. That's my problem. Didn't vote for the guy, but everybody else in the world don't care, and I don't blame them. If it was the same way around, it's like your country made the decision to have this horrible person be your leader. So your country is guilty. Even me that didn't vote for the guy. So what if all the other countries, Russia, China, whoever else, maybe even the EU now that we're going to try to take Greenland, what if they all decide to get together? Yeah, we got the biggest military in the world, but do we have the biggest military compared to all the other militaries combined? Plus you got terrorists. I feel like this guy's making us less safe in our own homes, in our own country, just so he and his friends can get richer. Am I wrong? Let's see what he says about it.
We need Greenland for national security, not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security.
And like I said, the oil that we get is from fracking. It's not the crude oil that they're trying to get from Venezuela. It's a whole different thing. So, of course, everything he says, complete bullcrap. Alejandro was born in Venezuela. Hugo Chavez tried to take over in 1992. Oh, that was the coup you were talking about. Yeah. And was arrested. Then the next president let him go, and he attempted another coup. Oh, I thought his second coup did not succeed, and then he was elected president. Or maybe he rewrote history. I just heard it the other day. I'm just learning about Venezuela, unfortunately. This happens when the U.S. currency is rejected, and that's another thing that happened in Venezuela that people think have a lot to do with why Trump decided to attack. They started trading in not the U.S. dollar, their oil not in the U.S. dollar, which most companies do, most countries do. We have too many natural protection laws. We have a pipeline ready to go, but Canada's like, nope, we need to be greener. I mean, it is always good to protect the land, but I'm sure you can sacrifice a little bit of land, just a little bitty. It's all ice anyway. Lucky for Greenland because they don't have no drugs. Why would they not have no drugs? And this is brand new breaking. just in. Greenland and Denmark have asked to meet with Secretary of State, what's his name? I was going to say Ricky Rubio. That's a basketball player. Marco Rubio. So I don't know if are they going to try to make a deal? Are they going to be like, quit threatening us? I don't know. But it's brand new. Hot off the press. So yeah, I told you I had a lot for politics today. I wasn't lying. Why would Greenland not have any drugs? I know there's not many people there. And it's very icy. They want Greenland to secure the Arctic Pass. Will be a huge deal here soon. You watch. The Arctic Pass? I know they're trying to say that it's for national security because that's a place where other countries would try to attack. But who would attack from that area? Europe? Nobody else would attack from that area. Everybody else would come from the Pacific, right? I don't see who would be attacking, how that would be a national security. And it's clear that they have all these natural resources, and it's clear that Trump and his friends are grabbing natural resources like oil in Venezuela to get rich. So why would they not also be grabbing this to get rich? And that's what seems to be makes the most sense. All right, let's get to tech. I could talk about my drop. I did go for the drop on BB this weekend. As you saw, Thanu hit 2 special editions. Congratulations, Thanu. $40 retail. I went for it 6 times. I don't know why. I guess because gems don't really mean anything to me anymore. You can't cash them out. So I went for it 6 times and got commons every time. Super L's on that one. The drop before that, I did really good and got a special edition, so I was feeling lucky. People were egging me on in the chat like always. So that's how I felt right here.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
Yes, that was me right there. Ew, brother, ew. Rob T would tell me to push it to the limit. I did, unfortunately. Russia is real close to Alaska. Yes. But that's on the other side. Greenland's on the other side of Alaska. Greenland's on the east. Alaska's on the west. So I think that's how they would invade. What's next, Vault? Tanini, you got crypto corruption. The crypto corruption is stunning, is saying Chris Murphy, and he did point out the crypto enforcement actions by the latest administrations. If you look at the Biden administrations, they're trying to regulate, they're doing things, they're trying to catch people for fraud using the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They did 105 enforcement actions. Even during Trump's first time, they did 50 crypto enforcement actions. But now, since Trump's been in office the second time, none at all. Crypto is fair game. Scam anybody you want, do whatever you want. You are not going to get in trouble for it. Is that good? Is that bullish? Boston Dynamics Atlas? Is that the dog? Ooh. It's been around for a while now. I think you're talking about the robotic dog from Boston Dynamics. I could be wrong. I'll wait and see what you say before I start talking about it. Although I feel like it has been around. Been around for a while. 8 special editions. That's what got me tongue-tied. 200 drops at 40 gems a drop. You're talking $8,000. Each SE worth $2,000. Doubled his money if you can get them sold. I'm assuming the floor will be around 2,000. I've not found any new drops coming from Panini. It's about that time for them to announce one. It's been a while. They usually do drop once every month and a half, it seems like. They do not do them very often. There's a possible shipping passage through the north and above Canada called the Arctic. Oh, trying to export some oil. Wouldn't be surprised. I know that's what the pipeline they were building through America was actually bringing Canadian oil to British Petroleum. I mentioned this earlier. NFT Paris has been canceled after already giving out tickets and selling tickets. After 4 editions of bringing together the global Web3 community in Paris, we have to face reality. NFT Paris 2026 is not gonna happen. The market collapse has hit us hard despite drastic cost cuts and months of trying to make it work. We couldn't pull it off this year. All tickets will be refunded within 15 days. And to those of you who have already booked flights and hotels, we're surely sorry. I don't know. People were saying in the chat, Kryptoni was talking about crypto punks are up to 100K. I don't know why they're pumping. What are Bored Apes doing? I know NFTs in general, not looking too strong right now. The ice is melting and allowing travel. Oh, okay. See, I don't know how it works in Canada. I guess it's not hot 24/7 year round. All right, this one hit me personally. I never fall for scams, and I didn't fall for this one either. But I was watching on YouTube, and this commercial popped up. And usually if it's AI, you can tell by the lip movement, right? At this point, there hardly has ever been any of these AI commercials where it looks like the person is actually talking. But this one looked just like Elon Musk was talking. It was, yeah, I mean, it was uncanny. It was definitely looked like him. It was hard to tell it was AI. And in it, he says, go to musk26.com. And it's one of those places when you get there, it's like, give me 2 Bitcoin and we'll send you 4 Bitcoin. It's like the most obvious scam ever. And it's literally, that's what it is. You can look at it. Send me 2 Bitcoin, we'll send you 4 Bitcoin. And it's like, how is it that YouTube allows these type of obvious scams to be placed on their platform like that? I mean, who knows who sees this? Kids could see this and think that it's real. It looked so much like Elon. Don't you think that YouTube should be liable for that? They decide what advertisements go on there. They're charging those people money to put those advertisements on there. It blows my mind that they're able to do that right there on YouTube, one of these huge platforms. And it's really kind of hard to tell that it's a scam. Indiana or Oregon, Indiana always. Miami or Ole Miss, I'm going with Miami for Rob T. Kurtoni says, that's why they wanted secure real-world assets to tie to the blockchain. Money is going digital, and the blockchain is the only way to do it. No more free money printing. Yeah, but everybody's afraid of having like a government currency on the blockchain, because then they can trace your money and cut your money off. So it has to stay decentralized, and then the top 1%, decentralized is not a thing. They're not going to allow that to happen. The 1% hates decentralization because they are the center. So I don't know how we're going to balance that out. It has to be decentralized or it doesn't work, and the top 1% will not have decentralization. Go Miami. Yeah, common gang for me too. It was a rough drop. They need to clean the scams up. I know, that's what the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau did, and Trump got rid of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That one kills me. How do you fall for it unless you're 7 or 77? I mean, but if it was like, when you get to that website, if you get to musk26.com and it was something that was more convincing on the website, I mean, they got me there. I was still pretty sure it was a scam. Honestly, I wasn't sure it was a scam. With it not, to me, it was like, this is not AI. Why is Elon Musk telling people to go to this website? I'm gonna go check it out, and I did. So if that website would have been more convincing, I don't think it would have got me. It might have. It's happened. Oh yeah, go Hurricanes. All right, and then the last thing I got for you, I still haven't changed up my Christmas background. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year. Happy 2026, the first Paranormally Correct live stream of 2026. And for everything else, I will show you guys some stuff that I sold on eBay here in a second. But this is the one thing I wanted to show you, and I don't know if my man Stan the Man is still in here, but you wanted the tip for Polymarket infinite money glitch right here. Will Jesus Christ return before 2027? 3% chance. All you gotta do is bet that he won't, and you win every time, right? So how does this even work? Because what if you bet that he will and he does? Would you even be able to cash in? What's the point of making that bet? How would you cash in? Why would it matter? If Jesus has returned, who cares how much money you got? You're going to heaven or hell. Stupid. Whose idea was this? And who the hell bet on Jesus returning? Like, it doesn't make sense. How do you cash in? How do you cash in? All right. Thought that was adorable. Let me go ahead and show you guys some recent sales. Get out of here. All right. Oh, this one was nice. It's just sold yesterday. Just shipped it off today. Vintage Donnie Moran autographed number 99. I want to get it to where I can show you how much it's sold for right when I click on it. It'll be a lot easier. I know why. If I click on this, it'll work. I don't know if y'all ever heard of Donnie Moran. So this one's cool because shout out to Braylon, my son. My son actually found this. He went thrifting with me one time, a couple months ago. He was looking for cool shirts. Am I lagging? He was looking for cool shirts. We were at this one place and he's going through them and he's like, he knows that I like autographs and he sees this one and he's like, dude, is this good? It was selling for $15. I don't think they knew the autograph was on there. And these sell for like 40 or 50 without the autograph. So I don't know why it's crashed out because it did sell for 75. I just shipped that off today, I think. That was a good one. And my kid found it, which is nice. This one's pretty good too. I think this might lag me out with the Chrome. What are the odds? I know, right? Happy New Year. Oh, are you talking about on the game? I do not know. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, Denny OC. Thanks for hanging out with me on Tuesdays. I appreciate you, bro. The return for the cash. Did he return? The return for the cash. Did he return? Return for the cash. Did he return? What are y'all talking about? I don't get it. Explain. What do you mean? Nobody returned it. No. I just shipped that yesterday. Nobody returned that. I just shipped this 2 days ago. $60 for this. I've had this for a while, though. But it was a really good brand. The G3 Collegiate brand is good. Also, Logo 7. I look for Logo 7 brands. I got a Purdue jacket I'm selling for $125. That's a Logo 7. Just because of the brand name. And some rare Borgata Casino. Something that you wouldn't notice would be worth money if you saw it just sitting somewhere. Probably got this for 25 cents, 50 cents. But it's these casino hotel playing cards are worth a lot. This one is like a messed up pack. It wasn't new at all. Some of the cards were a little bent up and it still sold for 20 bucks. So what do you mean by return? Nah, I haven't, nothing returned. Nothing has been sent back to me yet. Hopefully it doesn't get sent back to me. Happy New Year, Thanu. Thank you for hanging out and congratulations on your special editions this week. That was awesome. So yeah, those were kind of my 2 biggest sales recently. Surprisingly, I've been getting a lot of sales last week. Normally, right after Christmas, that's a tough time to try to get sales. Did Jeebus return? Oh. We're talking about Jesus somehow? I remember we were just talking about Jesus. I feel like I should have remembered what we were talking about. Shit. Oh. How would you know? Did he return? What are the odds? 3% chance. Are you not seeing it? 3% chance that he will return before 2027. And then if you win, you're not going to win a little money, but infinite money glitch. Depends on how much you bet. Then you can do it again next year. That's what I was talking about. And he hasn't returned yet as far as I know. If so, nobody told me. I don't think so. All right, everybody. Whew, been a long one. Had a lot of politics stuff to talk about today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And dealing with my ranting and raving about politics. I know some of this stuff not everybody agrees with what I have to say, but if anybody always wants to debate it or give me their own opinions, I'm always willing to listen to them. I might not necessarily agree with them, but hopefully most of the time I'll be able to prove or explain why necessarily I don't agree with them. Yeah. Appreciate you, Denny OC. Appreciate you, Thanu. Everybody in the chat, Stan the Man, Rob T, Grandma, More, Crip Tony. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's been a fun Tuesday. I'll be back next Tuesday for sure. If we ever have another Panini drop, I'll be live streaming that. Maybe the next Ninja Turtles drop. I still got gems. But until then, I will definitely see y'all at least next Tuesday. Have a great week this week, and happy 2026. Later, everybody.